Good morning. Good afternoon. God bless you all. Good to see everybody. It's been a while since I've been on. But glad to see everybody this lovely Tuesday. So come on in. Kingdom blessings and kingdom love. You all are so beautiful today. God bless you. How you doing, man of God? Good afternoon to you. So come on in. I haven't neglected anyone. I just been in a place where trying to hear from God. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But I want to share something today. I didn't get finished with the message that God had given me, but I want to share something that there are some things that people in a point in your life that you got to get rid of the breaches. Something so profound what the Spirit of God has been revealing. Y'all do me a favor and share the video. It's a suddenly thing because normally I'm not even on this time of the day. But I miss you all, being intimate with you all outside of the preaching. But I love, being intimate with everybody so that way you can have a close-up with me. So come on in. But nevertheless, while I'm getting things done, God began to talk to me about some things, and that in terms of how there are breaches in people's life and then not knowing that they are there. And I'm going to share something with you on today. If I sound a little slurred, it's because I got these aligners in here trying to fix some things, but to God be the glory. But there's a message that I spoke on Sunday, and God just took me somewhere else with it, and I didn't get a chance to really speak on some of the stuff that He wanted that I had already placed, but nevertheless, when we pay attention to Nehemiah, and I want to share this on today, it said that Nehemiah built a wall. He built a wall but left a door open. But I want to read this to you. Can I read this today? I want to read this to you. It's just one scriptural. And I'm going to leave y'all alone and go on with y'all very day. Because today I'm celebrating my birthday, even though it's on the 24th. But I took the time in advance, a whole week off, to enjoy myself. And my husband, he'll be here soon, so just waiting. But nevertheless, I enjoyed my flight. It was a blessing. And anytime that I take a flight and I look and I just say, look at the glory of God and what He has created. Because when you go and take that flight and you're paying attention to the atmosphere, you see things differently. And whether you believe it or not, thank you, Nene. Whether you believe it or not, when you're flying and you're in the air like that, you come down with a certain way of how you view life differently. So every time that I go up, and I'm going to read this in just a moment. Every time that I go up and take my flight, I see the peace. I see serenity. I see the love of God. I just see, sometimes it allows me to see me when I do take my flights. But nevertheless, I'm sharing this because being on a plane sometimes allow you to see what you can't see until you look over. But I want to share something with you today. Now just bear with me. In the book of Nehemiah, the 6th chapter, and only the first verse. And God, put something in my spirit as I was looking, and didn't get a chance to really talk about it on Sunday, but I want to share it with you intimately. And then I got to get on with my very weight today. If you look at verses 1, and this is something so profound, I didn't even pay attention until God says, go back and look at that. And it said, now when Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard that I had rebuilt the wall, and that there was no breach left in it, although at that time I had not set up doors in the gates. And I'm just going to stop right there. What caught my attention in this is when your enemy hears that you rebuild a wall. And sometimes we have walls that are low and never been rebuilt. And when the enemy hears about that wall, it can't get in. The enemy can't get to the mind. The enemy cannot get to your heart, or whatever's trying to creep in. And then I never paid attention, because the enemy plots against you when your walls are down, when your feelings are hurt, when you are in stress and depression, when there are things around you and you don't even know which way to go. How you doing, Mary? God bless you for joining. Y'all share the video. And so when the enemy realized that there is a wall built, he can't breach you anymore. I want y'all to catch what I'm saying. When the enemy finds out that your wall has been rebuilt, because how many of you all have walls that has been torn down? I'm talking about a wall. I'm talking about your heart been torn down. Your ego has been torn down. Your confidence has been torn down. Your spirit has been torn down. Your excitement and your joy and your peace has been torn down. Let me go here. Your marriage been torn down. Relationships been torn down. Your spiritual and mothers and fathers when children been torn down. Disappointment tore you down. Yes, and it hurts. Come on. I want to share this. Y'all get the video out there. But then again, when the enemy finds out that you rebuild the wall, he wants, or she wants, or whatever spirit wants to know how to get back in. Once you build the wall, that's it. And I'm saying that because I had one time in my life where I had my walls down, and then I had to rebuild them back up. Jesus said, he said, tear down this temple. And I'm saying this for a reason. Tear down this temple in 3 days. He will build it again. And so when he talks about this wall that has been breached, something violated you. Come on here. And you don't realize that something has violated you until you've been breached. And so now I understand when Nehemiah had to rebuild the wall, because it said when you build that wall, there is no more breaching left. You can't get fooled anymore. You can't get your feelings hurt anymore. Not when the wall is built back up. When you put a wall around your heart, nothing can creep in to affect you and disappoint you or derail you or overpower you, because the wall has built back up. Now, the other thing was the fact that he said that the door and the gate was still open. So I can build a wall, but there's a door still open because I might still let you in. by grace. Grace will cause me to open up a door for you. And I'm saying this because Nehemiah had enemies. And I'm saying this, Nehemiah had enemies, Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem, the Arabian or Arab. And they were trying to figure things out and heard there's a wall that's built. Sometimes you got to tell the enemy no more. Sometimes you got to pull back and walk away from certain things after you have built that wall. And so even in the midst of this, when you build a wall, you're turning away from things, and you're turning away from people, or you're turning away from circumstances, and now you're praying to God like Nehemiah. And he says, now God, I pray that you give me strength. The strength comes because it can hurt sometimes when you got to build a wall because you don't want to get hurt again by something else. You don't want to get disappointed again by another person. You don't want to allow these things to creep in because as you look at the word, what did he say? He said, now when Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard, because see, the enemy going to hear that you done closed in. The enemy is going to hear when you are isolated. The enemy is going to hear when you don't hang around anymore. You don't do these things anymore. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are new. And so he says, watch this, heard that I built the wall. He didn't say God built it. He said, I built the wall. And it says, and that there were no more breaches left. No more breaches left in that wall because the enemy can't get in when the wall is built. The spy can't get in or the mole can't get in when the wall is built. Why I say that, I took this scenario of Robert Philip Hansen. He was a mole. He was a spy for the Soviet Union and the Russians. And I looked at that. I'm going to share this very briefly. He was a United States FBI agent. And then when he turned against them and started selling the classified documents, and they wanted to know who was doing all this, and then all of a sudden they had to find out who was the mole. They had to pay millions of dollars to find out who this was, which was another name to say an Achan in the camp that we have to get rid of. Because sometimes when somebody breaching you, they're affecting your character. You can have someone acting like they for you, but breaching your relationship. You can have somebody act like they're with you, but breaching who you are. Coming in to find out information, finding out certain things. But when you pay attention to this, he says that I had rebuilt the wall and that there was no breach left in it, although at that time I had not set up doors in the gate. So the doors can still be open, but the wall is built to keep spirits from coming in all kind of ways. You can build a wall of your eye gate so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on your focal point. Keep your eyes on the pivotal point. You can close your nose gate so you don't smell everything. And when I talk about smell, I'm speaking about certain things that's coming into the spiritual realm to overtake you, to take you off the smell of God. You can close you can build a wall for the mouth because sometimes the mouth can get you in trouble when somebody breaches you. You don't want to say things you don't want to say because sometimes when somebody do something that affect your character or affect your integrity or affect your purpose, you may want to say something you don't want to say. And so you got to build that wall and shut the mouth because we got to be slow to speak and swift to hear what the Spirit of God is saying. And then there's a time that you open up to speak. You can close and build a wall up against the ears so you don't hear a lot of noise in your mind. People speaking into your mindset, but yet at the same time, it's the enemy. Want to give you something that may not be truthful. Want to speak into your mindset and bring noise and gossip and mess and foolishness and dumb stuff. And you just got to build a wall and say, I'm tired of hearing this. And now you got to build that wall to close your ear gate because you don't want to hear it anymore. It's enough is enough. And so when Nehemiah builds his wall and he says, watch this, and that there was no more breach left in it, although at that time I had not set up the doors in the gate. It says, Sanballat and Geshem sent word to me saying, come, let us meet. We can't meet about nothing when I shut my doors. Come on here. We can't discuss nothing, no conversation. Now let me say this. Have you ever had a time in your life where somebody breached you, or let me say it like this, violated you? Violated your trust, violated your love, violated, your atmosphere, or just violated you, period. They crossed you the wrong way. They came against who you are, period. And then here comes a time after that, you open up and then you shut things out because your heart, your mind, your spirit can't take no more of the abuse. So when that happens, you got to turn around and ask God for strength. Because when you ask God for strength after building that wall, it hurts. Some people you got to let go, but yet they're breaching you, they're violating you, and you trying to give them another chance. Hello, somebody. Now, if I go on down, I want to share something here. And it says in verses 2, it says, Sanballat and Geshem sent word to me saying, come, let us meet together at Seabringna in the plain of Uno. But they were planning to harm me. Have you ever known that sometimes there's a breach, but when the enemy hears and want to have a meeting with you, they want to set you up for failure, set you up to disdain you, set you up so you can be embarrassed. But there's a time that you have to wake up and build your walls so that you don't get violated again. Your ministry within you has been violated, or somebody breached that ministry. And I'm talking about what God has placed in the quarters of your spirit. There's a time where you are breached and you have to learn how to build these walls up that nothing else can come in and overtake you. Nothing can shake you. Let me go here. A boyfriend can breach you, hurt your feelings, hurt your heart, cheated on you is what they say when you're not married, but that's what they say, a boyfriend cheating or a woman cheating on you. And then you hurt, so they breached the contract of the relationship. And now let's go here. Even with husband and wives, where somebody can breach the relationship of the covenant that you have. And then now you look at where God has to move some things out of your life. You have relationships that have been breached, contracts that has been breached. Not only that, friendships that has been breached, networking. And sometimes some contracts are good to be breached because they don't need to be in your life anyway. I paid attention to something that I had, and it was in terms of a breach of anticipation. And so when something anticipates itself, it's doing it on purpose, knowing in advance what they're getting ready to do. Let's go here. The Pharisees and Sadducees, they anticipated to kill Jesus. They knew what they were doing. They didn't care about what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, what happens? When he gets on the cross, they said, since you say you are the Son of God, you get yourself down off the cross. But they anticipated. It was planned. It was plotted. So what am I saying? Breaches are plotted against. But a breach is illegal. But it targets what it wants to take over. And if you don't have discernment, to recognize the enemy or to recognize what's trying to breach who you are, just say regardless, then you would set yourself up to be violated. Violation comes when the guards are down. Breaching comes when the walls are down. When there's nothing wrong with keeping the walls up. Hello, somebody. So when I say there's a breach in my house, what that means is that when a breach is in the house, it comes from something interfering or trying to intercept what's on the pathway trying to move forth to have life and have it more abundantly. I'm not here to talk about, and when I said breach in my house, I ain't talking about me meaning in that form. Because people are like, what's going on with Prophetess? There's nothing going on with Prophetess. It's just God gave me a word and I'm speaking it. And a lot of people that's looking right now got breaches. And you got to get the breaches out. What's in the house? What's in the mindset that's breaching you? What's in the spirit breaching you? What's around you breaching you? Y'all share the video. But there's a point in your life that you have to pray to God and say, God, give me strength while the doors are open, but my wall is up. Some people can't handle you when the walls are up. Some people cannot handle the walls when you are up. Because enough is enough. When you got financing, hello, when you got good financing and people are breaching you and coming in to just take, then you wake up and say, you know what? I can't give you no more of this money. We're done. Because breaching is one-sided. One-sided because of what its own desire is as a breacher. And when a breacher comes in to violate who you are, it don't care how it do it, how it gets in, and how it takes it. A robber, let me say this, anticipate the time and know when you're not at home and know when to go in, what to grab and get and leave. By the time you get back home, what was already plotted is already done. So it's a breach of anticipation. So there are different types of breaches. I'm trying to pull it up, but talking to you guys so quickly. But there are different types of breaching. There's a breach of warranty. There's a warranty in life. Come on, somebody. And see, there's a time, even with that, some stuff has an expiration date. But you got to cut off some stuff. God says we have to build up. We got to overpower some stuff. We got to pluck things out. We got to overpower, overthrow, and then we build and plant. Even in the midst of that, there's an expiration date on certain things. Hello. There's an expiration date. Something expires. So when there's a breach of warranty, it can only go so far. But I'm telling you these things because a lot of people are hurt from breaches. A lot of people are stressed because of breaches. A lot of people are sick in their body because of breaches. Come on here. A lot of people and the mindset is discombobulated because of breaches. Who breached your mind? I mean, got up here and all of a sudden, you don't even know how you even got to where you are in the mind because somebody breached it. They violated your spirit. They violated your mindset. They violated you right here. And now it's so embedded on the inside, it takes God to uproot something that violated you. Let me say this. No offense to anybody, because not only that I'm going to talk about it, this is something that happened to me before. And you probably know somebody that has been raped, or maybe someone here has. When somebody rapes you, and not just a physical rape, when somebody rapes you, it violates the body. It violates you mentally. It violates your inner productive system or reproductive system. And when you violate it like that, it puts you into a place you don't want to talk. It puts you into a place you don't want to be bothered. It puts you into a place that you want to be alone. And so that happened to me in my life. That's how I had my first child. She's 21 years old. I'm ashamed to say it. And that put me in a place of being quiet when I was violated, when I was breached. I was hoping that one day that I was married and all my kids by the same man, but that didn't happen. But I'm saying this to us because when you're breached or violated, it puts you into a place that you, how can I say this? It puts you into a place where you don't want to be a part and you don't want to open up. It violates your mouth so that it be shut, that you don't want to go tell nobody because nobody else is not going to believe you. It puts you into a place you feel left out, no love, no support, and mentally dysfunctional. And you got to deal with this every day until God uproots the breach that came in your life. And when you uproot this and you build your walls back up, because sometimes it takes time. It took me years. It took me years to build that wall back up again. And at the same time as that wall was being built, I was stereotyped where people looked at me the wrong way. I want to say this. I want you to hear me. Don't leave yet. It made people look at me the wrong way. And that's somebody else's opinion of me. I am a very humble person. Seabringna is. Prophetess is another one. And then Keisha, Keisha, that's my middle name. You don't want to bother her. But in the midst of that, when I went through all of this, it put me in a position that I was quiet and I was misunderstood. I was misunderstood because nobody really knew me, didn't feel my heart, didn't understand my spirit, didn't understand my mind. And I'm sitting in places saying, Lord, help me, because I was breached. I'm saying, God, help me before I lose it, before I go into sanity. And it's like this. It's like you have an ankle or ankler on your ankle and it's sinking you to the bottom of the ocean and you need oxygen to breathe. And no one knows that you're going down into this water until somebody catches you and pull you back up. And so for so many years, I'm going to get back to this. And for so many years, I was misunderstood. I was called crazy because I was quiet. I was called a lunatic because I looked at people like they was crazy. Like, really? Because I didn't want to talk. And sometimes I still get that today, misunderstood. Or you think you all that in a bag of chips. I don't think that. I know I'm beautiful, but I don't think I'm more than the next person. And at the same time, want to be high class. That's not who I am. I just have a standard And I believe, and y'all hear what I'm saying, and I'm going to get to what I'm saying in a moment. I believe that we hold a posture and a position that God has, and it has nothing to do with somebody else stereotyping and their opinion and their judgment. And so for so many years, as I was breached, and I'm going to say this because my grandmother told me this, and I was 15 years old. And when I was 15 years old, she said, and I told her that I couldn't take it anymore. It bothered me. I can't take it anymore. And it was like 6 o'clock that afternoon, that evening. Had just come from school during the day and went over there talking to her. And at that time, 15 years old. And I said, I can't take this. Talk, amongst the people and community and people looking at you like you did something crazy and wrong. And you know what my grandmother said to me? Because I'm trying to help somebody today. I'm trying to help you. But you know what she said to me? She said, well, baby, this has been going on for a long time, which makes me think that there was some ancestry in my family. And she said, there's nothing that you can do about this. My grandmother told me this. She said, the damage is already done. And all you need to do is pick your head up and keep walking. Pick your head up and keep walking. And so I start walking because of what she said. Not because I had my head in the air and didn't want to hear what nobody had to say. I kept my head up, which means my wall was up, to keep from going through the pain and the hurt again. That word that my grandmother spoke at the age of 15 kept me today, she was my wall. She was my wall. And she spoke that. No one knew that. No one knew that. But she kept that wall up. She was my wall. I would go to my grandmother and talk to her when people didn't even know that I talked. And all she said was, the damage is already done. Pick your head up and keep walking. And if it wasn't for those words that my grandmother spoke to me, I ain't no telling where Seabringna would be today. No telling. But those words strengthened me, because Nehemiah said, now God, as he prayed, he said, now God strengthened me. And so walking with my head up was saying, I overpowered something that could have took me out of here. I overpowered something that could have damaged my mind when I was left alone, because sometimes being breached and violated calls you to be in a isolated place. I had to deal with that for years until I grabbed a hold of things and I prayed to God and I said, God, take me, build me back up again, because I was in that place where I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't even know who to believe. And the people that I went to, they were not my help. I thought they was my help. They let me down. They disappointed me. They turned their backs on me. And that's what happened until God brought me strength. I put myself in this right now because now I understand when God told Nehemiah to build a wall. And that wall was built to keep the enemy out. To keep the enemy out. To keep the enemy from hurting you. To keep the enemy from bringing pain. To keep the enemy from blinding you. To keep the enemy from overtaking you. To keep the enemy from degrading you. There's a time that you say, God, just build me a wall. That wall is for protection. He said, I'm your shield and your buckler. I am your refuge and your dwelling place. David said it best. He said, hide me from my foes, which means keep them away from me. And you thinking that sometimes people come in your life, you think they have your best interest and they don't. I'm telling you this because the enemy comes like and look like an angel of light. It ain't what you think it looks like. And you think it has your best interest and it doesn't. But I'm saying this because there's a time in your life that you got to keep the wall up and then pray that God keeps you with strength. Now I can understand why you have to have a wall, but the door is still open. The door is still open so that you can walk in or walk out, or that door is still open for you to let somebody else in or let them out. So when you have a door to your heart and you got a wall all around, you can open the door and say, come on in, or you can close the door and say, get out. You can close the door and say, come in or get out, because you can't go through this anymore. Even in the midst of the pandemic and in the midst of COVID, you still got to build a wall up. You still got to build a wall, but the door is still open, but only you have the ability to let who you want in and who you want out. Everybody can't come in your room. Everybody can't come to you, to your heart, your mind, your spirit. Why do I say that? Let's go here. You can have one relationship. Jesus had 12 disciples, but only 3 he let in. Out of 12, only 3 was let in. 9 of them was out. What am I saying? Just because you got a crowd don't mean that they're going to be inside your walls. Just because somebody know you don't mean that you got to open up the doors and let them in because they know you. God has a way of how he does things, and he got walls too. You don't believe that? How you think you get to God? You can only get to God through Jesus. He said there's only one way. Come by the way of the gate. God have walls too. So nobody can breach the Lord. He says, come by the way of Christ. No one can come to God except they come through who? Y'all know the scriptures. Except they come through Jesus Christ. I don't care how many gates are open, but it's only one way in and one way out. Now you have to choose between that. But I'm saying this because as I'm looking at the word of God, and I'm going to get ready to get off this thing. I got so much to do. I'm trying to enjoy myself. I'm going to try to talk to you all every day and give you some words of encouragement. When I look at this, and it said that the enemy heard that I built my wall up. You know, the enemy going to hear a lot about you. The enemy is going to hear some things that you was not even anticipating for them to know anything about. But it said, and there was no breach after I built that wall. So the enemy can't get in no more after you build it. No breaching, no violation. Because you hurt me once, that's it. You crossed me once, that's it. I'm building a wall. Because I know your spirit. I know your behavior. I know your character. Let alone I know your motive. So now we're looking at, you got to pull that mold out your life. Who is the mold in your life? Or shall I say, who is the violator or the breacher? You ain't paid attention. You know, they say this all the time, keep your enemies close. You can't always keep the enemy close. Sometimes you got to let the enemy go. That's a true saying, but I believe that when I recognize who you are, you got to go. Why would you keep letting somebody breach you with pain? Why you keep wanting somebody to breach you with disappointment? Aren't you tired of it? Why would you allow someone to keep breaching you, and that brings stress? breach of stress, breach of depression. I mean, breaching you with a bipolar spirits. One minute they love you, the next minute they don't like you. They coming and going. They pretenders, imposters, breaching relationships, act like they are relations to you, but they're not. Come on here. So you got to think about it. What's the best interest so you can have a healthy relationship or a healthy mind or a healthy life? You can't be healthy until you remove the breach. Ask Joshua. Even though that Joshua loved Achan, but Achan stole out of Jericho when God said don't touch nothing in there except for Rahab and her family and her goods. He wanted to go take the garment and everything else and hide it under the tent. And by the time they got ready to go fight, they had no strength. Sometimes a breacher calls you to lose your strength. And you don't even know how you became the weakest link. And so when they ran back down the hill, Joshua goes to God and says on his face and tell God he don't even know what happened. I'm paraphrasing it. Y'all go look at it, read it on your own time. And then with the elders, God said, pick your face up off this ground. Achan has stolen, which means he done breached us. And God said, line them up the next day. He said, what I want you to do is fast. Fast and pray, because sometimes you got to fast. Sometimes you got to fast and pray to prepare yourself to let something go. Sometimes you have to prepare your mindset to be ready for something that somebody else ain't going to be able to take when you push something out. Sometimes. And so I'm saying this because when he did that, he gave Achan the opportunity to come up and release. Achan didn't do that. And so God said, all right, Achan has stolen. Get rid of him, his family, his goods, his tribe, and everything. And when he got rid of everything, because it hurted Joshua. Joshua's like, out of all people, why it had to be you? Why did it have to be you to breach me? Why did it have to be you to hurt me? Why did it have to be you to blind me? Why did it have to be you to cross me the wrong way? Have you had that before? I'm trying to be real today. Have you ever had someone that, and why did it have to be you? Out of all people, it was you. And so when he leaves and let him go, God burnt them up and called them the valley of something to this day. I give it back to you another time. And when they went back up and he sent soldiers, they was able to possess the land. And sometimes a breach or a breacher can stop the blessing. A breacher can stop the movement of God on your life. A breacher can stop because they're in the atmosphere and in the way, and they are blocking you from moving forward. And God has to tell you today, get rid of the breach in your house. You got to prepare yourself. That's just like somebody dying. And you have to prepare your mind and your heart for a funeral that you ain't ready to see somebody go in the ground. Hello, somebody. Tell you the truth. You got to prepare yourself. And when you prepare yourself, regardless, God said it's for your best good. It's for your best interest. It's for your best. It's for your good. Like he said, all things work together for the good for those that love God and who's called according to his purpose. It's still in your best interest, whether or not that you want to hold on to the breacher. The word said, watch this. I want to make sure I'm in the book today. I love y'all, but here it is. When I go down, and I think it's verses 10 of Nehemiah 6, and watch what he say. He says, I Verse 9, for they all wanted to frighten you, thinking they will become discouraged with the work and do it not for, and it would not be done. But now, O God, strengthen my hands. Strengthen my hands. So Nehemiah is asking God to strengthen his hands because the enemy was hoping that the work won't be done. Which means when God strengthens your hand, it gives you the ability to build with your power. Strengthen my mind. So when I go through this, it doesn't bother me or affect my emotions because my mind has 3 cores to it. The frontal lobe, the cortex of the mind, and the limbic system. And so you have to tell God, prepare my mind for this. Prepare my spirit for this. Because if you're not strong in the midst of adversity, you will crumble. You will be into a position as if like you don't even know how you got there. You have to be strengthened for a lot of things. And so when Nehemiah say, Lord God, I pray thee that you strengthen my hands, I'm talking to somebody who's looking and saying, God, prepare my mind, but strengthen my mind. Strengthen my voice to speak because I've been quiet too long. Strengthen my eyes so I can see correctly, that I'm not seeing a blurry or something in my eyes that I can't see my enemy or what's fooling me. Strengthen my ears so I can hear the right thing from the Spirit. Strengthen my heart so that it can pump the truth. Strengthen my spirit and strengthen my household. Strengthen my children while they're in position where they are. Strengthen my husband in the midst of him going through all this hell. Strengthen my wife when she don't even have enough strength. Strengthen me as I go through surgery. Strengthen me that mama is in a coma. Strengthen something, because you got to pray when you build up the wall. And that wall is to help you. That wall is to overpower anything that wants to come in and bombard you. Wants to come in and snatch you down. Want to come in and tear you down. And you saying, God, strengthen me. The Bible said that Jesus received strength when he couldn't even pray anymore, when he was in pain and agony as he was praying to go through the process so that he can die on the cross. And I'm saying this because, hey dear, how you doing, honey? I'm praying because I need God in the midst. The Bible said when you are weak, therefore he is strong. So while you're building your wall and you're trying to hold up your wall to guard your mind and your heart and your spirit, then God gives you strength, because he will overpower everything that's trying to take over you. Spirits trying to get in. Come on here. Spirits want to get into your spirit, your atmosphere, your mindset. God, give me strength so I know how to knock the sheer hell out of it. Give me strength for my mouth so I won't cuss nobody out. Give me strength so I can hear the right thing, that I don't hear the wrong thing and I take it and run with it. Give me strength so I can see right. Take the cataract out of my eyes and the glaucoma in the spirit. Hello, somebody. Give me strength to lose weight. I eat too much, but I need to lose some weight. Talking to somebody. Give me strength, God, when I'm in a position that I'm scared to move forth in your will. But give me strength and build a wall up so I can go on through it. Give me strength to go through this thing. After you build that wall, the Bible said that he built the wall, but he left the door open. Why is the door open? Because can't nobody get in the wall except for God himself. Nothing can get in except for the Holy Spirit. So when he builds you up, he got to enter in. When he builds you up, he has to intervene. Come on here. When you build that wall up, he the one to regulate the mind when you put a wall on the mindset. After you remove the enemy, the Bible says when the spirits are released and moved from your body, watch this, They try to come back with 7 times more, but when you let the Holy Spirit get in, no spirit can intervene. So what am I saying? When you build that wall up and the enemy has heard that they can't get in no more, something else overtook you that they can't. Something else woke you up that now you can see what you didn't see. Now you got the wall up, but a door is open for God. Hello, somebody. But the door is open for God. There's only one way in you anyway, and one way out. Every room has 4 walls, but only one door to get in and get out. Now, if you got a house and you got a ranch or 2-story, 3-story, you still got 2 or 3 doors, but only one way to in and then the other way is out. Sometimes you still got to lock them doors too. Any and everything don't have a key. But who has the key to you? Who has the key to your spirit? Who has the key to your mind? Who has the key to your marriage? Who has the key to your money? Who has the key to everything? God does. So when you build that wall up, let me just read this because somebody don't believe what I'm saying. Watch this. It says, now when Sanballat, Tobiah, Gershom, the Arab, and the rest of our enemies, we say our enemies, heard that I had rebuilt the wall. When I rebuilt the wall, it didn't say God built it. He says I rebuilt. So there's nothing wrong with saying I sometimes. People say, well, ain't no I in team. It's not, but there's an I in me who is God. So when it says, heard that I rebuilt the wall and that there was no breach left in it, which means nothing can come in and taint me. Although at that time, I had not set up doors in the gates. What are the gates? The eye gate, nose gate, mouth gate, ear gate, heart gate, love gate, joy gate, help gate. All these gates you got. And the reason why it had not been built yet, because the wall had to come up. Once the wall comes up, then the doors are not set up yet because God is still working. Because once you build something up, God still got to move. God still got to do some chiseling. He got to strengthen you. He got to cultivate you. He got to overpower some stuff. He got to give you back your joy, give you back your happiness, give you back your love. Because somebody breached you and snatched your love from you. Somebody breached you. You don't even want to go to church no more because somebody violated you in the church. Hello. Somebody violated you. And so now God had to rebuild you back up again. Rebuild you back up again with love, real love. Rebuild you back up again with real trust. Rebuild you back up again, somebody who's loyal. You thought they was loyal, but God had to build the wall back up so that you can get the loyal truth, that you can get healed, set free, or delivered. God had to deliver you by putting a wall up anyway. He had to put up a wall so that you don't get into a position where something snatched you out of the will of God. Hello, somebody. Church is so quiet. And so if you go back and read Nehemiah 6, you may go see that. And then, like I said in verse 10, he prayed. He says, God, now give me strength. Because the enemy, and watch this. When you build your wall, it ain't that you think you all that. You just build it because you're tired. When you build that wall, it ain't that you think you're more than the next person. You just built it because you're not going to let nothing come in and treat you wrong anymore. When you build that wall again, nobody can violate you with domestic violence. Nobody can degrade or disdain you. It doesn't matter. Watch this. When you build a wall, negativity is numb to you. I said it again. When you build that wall up, negativity is numb to you again. So now you're strengthened. So stuff rolls off your back like water's on a duck's back. Now you're re-strengthened. Now you're rebuilt again. Because he said, I got to tear down some stuff. And now I'm rebuilding the wall so the enemy can't come because you didn't see it the first time. Now you can see it that the walls are up. Now you can see it because you was blind to the truth. Because the enemy is trying to attack on all sides. They heard. Hear what he said. He says, our enemies heard that you rebuilt the wall. So the wall had some holes in it. You have to patch it up, huh? The wall was knocked down with a hammer. They had to go back and put some bricks or whatever back up on it. The wall was crumbling. You know, when they build a bridge and something go wrong, they got to stop the traffic, set them onto another side, and they got to rebuild that bridge. Now I can understand, don't take this the wrong way, this is not an arrogant statement. Now I can understand why Trump said build a wall. Build a wall to keep the enemy out. It ain't that he want to not have the people there. They're coming in illegal. Because when you have your walls down, the enemy comes into your life illegally. Because you don't have the walls up and the guards up like, why you here? What you here for? Who sent you? Why are you entertaining me? Why are we having lunch? Why are we having breakfast? Why are we in training? Who are you? So the enemy can't come into you illegally anymore. Now you can see when the walls are up. But when you got your walls down, you can't see nothing. But when you got the walls up, you become solid. You become stable again. You're not discombobulated all over the place. Why do you think that the house is separated by walls? You need walls to keep you protected. You got a wall for the bathroom. Can't nobody see you go wash and use the bathroom. You got a wall to your bedroom and a door to the bedroom. Nobody knows what's in your bedroom but you and whatever else goes in it. You got a wall to the dining room. No one knows what's in there except for when they walk through the door. You got a wall in the garage. So for somebody to know what's in there, they have to let up the garage or go through that door. Every room has a wall. Nobody knows what's behind the doors. But when you have a house with no walls, everybody can see. Sometimes God give you walls to protect you, to cover you, to shield you, and to keep you in a position that you don't lose your sanity. But walls, when they're down, the enemy can come in illegally. Ask Jesus. He said if a hired man come, he can scatter the sheep because he didn't come by the way of the gate, which means come through the opening, come through the center, come through the front, come by the way of the cross. You can't come to God any kind of way. No one should be able to come to you any kind of way. Because when the breach comes, it's disrespectful. When the breacher comes, it comes in manipulating. When the breacher comes, it comes in to deprive. It's already set a diabolical assignment and satanic attacks. It sets itself up to overtake who you really are. But when you got God on your life, he will not fail you. He will not let the enemy come in and attack you. As David said, hide me from my foes. Cover me with your wings. Hello, somebody. Because let me say this, and I'm going to go. Breaching can come many different ways. It can be a good way of breaching. It can be an evil way of breaching. But sometimes you can breach a contract, which means to let go something that shouldn't be there. And I'm saying this to you because so many things happen all around us, but we never see, we never understand until God says, let go and get rid of the breach in your house. What's in your house that's causing a breach? Disappointment after disappointment. Lie on top of lie. Hating on top of hating. discombobulation, stress and depression, the breaching, bringing heart attacks and strokes in the spirit and in the natural. You stress because somebody breached your heart. You overwhelmed because somebody overwhelming you with all that mess and that gossip. And you still taking it in your gate. You should build that wall up and say, look, not today. You got a headache, you got migraines, because all these breaches and come. You listen to everything that what somebody got to say about your husband, about your children, about your wife, about your business, about who you are. And now you breach and violate it because of the negativity. And God is saying in this season, get rid of the house, get rid of the breach in your house. Get rid of the breach in your house. The enemy come to kill, steal, and destroy. But God said, I came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And sometimes things come in to pull you out of your posture, your will of God, the characteristics, your position. Come to ostracize who you are. But God's saying in this season, get rid of the breach so that you can have life again. That's why you ain't living, because the breach. Holding on to something that somebody said. Get free. Freedom in you exposes a lot of bondage. Freedom in you exposes a lot of bondage. I'm going to read this to you real quick and I'm going to go. When I look at this word, and hold on, I'll pull this definition up. The word breach says an act of breaking or failing to observe a law or a code of conduct. A law, the law of happiness, the law of joy, the law of attraction, the law of fulfillment, the law of marriage, the law of covenant, the law of blessings, all kind of laws. Something breaking is an act of breaking, and the code of conduct. Not only that, it says a violation or a breach of standard of trust. So somebody can breach your trust. Someone can breach your trust. And now not only that, it says a break in a custom friendly relations. A break in a custom friendly relations. And so when somebody breaches your relationship, it breaches the friendship, then it brings a taste in your mouth that you would not want to taste again. Feels nasty. Some people just, you be like, oh, I love you, but your spirit is, no, you got to go do something about that. Telling the truth to a breacher. A breach of peace. Somebody breaching your peace. Watch this, and I got to go. It says, breaching is also an illegal noise or violent behavior. Illegal noise. I mean, talking to you about something that don't make no sense. Talking to you about something illiterate. Talking to you about something that don't line up with your spirit. Talking to you about stuff that does not feed your appetite and your spirit. Noise, illegal noise getting into your mind. So somebody breach you a poison of words. And God is saying, get rid of the breacher. Watch this. And violent behavior. Someone walking around with violent behavior mentally. Their behavior just, you don't want to hang around. The Bible said, be ye separated. So be ye separated from the breacher. Be ye separated. Call it out for what it is. Don't let another breacher come in and breach you or vex you or violate you simply because they can. Remember, there's what you call the breach of anticipation. They anticipate. It's already mapped out and planned. There's a data breach. Got all your information. A data breach. Got all your information. Spreading it around like cancer. So there's a breach in your data. You done told somebody all your business. And now they're telling everybody what's going on in your house. Get the breacher. Again, like I said, a breach of trust, the breach of contract. Something that was agreed between two people. But somebody breached the contract. They violated. That's like violating the breach when you promise to make a payment on a car note and then you can't keep the car note and they say we got to take the keys. You can't make the house note anymore. They're going to foreclose it. Hello, a breach of contract. You agreed to swipe them credit cards and pay the bill, but then now you in debt. A breach of warranty. It only goes so far. You breached that warranty because what you did was illegal when it came against. The breach of confidence. So somebody breached your privacy. Everybody got privacy, but they breached the privacy. You had privacy. Can I have my privacy, please? But they breached the confidentiality when you said, can you keep this to yourself? This between me and you. I'm sharing this with you about my life, but can you just hold that? And then here come the breacher. They take it and run with it. They done wrote a whole article about you. Not just an article, they done blast you on social media somewhere. They don't went and talk to somebody over the phone about you. But a breach of confidentiality. It was classified information, but somebody told it. Watch this. Breach of let me see. A breach of the duty, disrespected your position. Fiduciary duty. Somebody breached the duty, which means they came against who you are. So now they feel like they're right here with you. You a spiritual mom, and now they look at you like y'all friends. Hello, somebody. Your children. You're supposed to be their moms and fathers, but now they disrespecting you, so they think they're right here. They can talk to you any kind of way, so they breached your duty. They think they can talk to you any kind of way. They can come to you the way that they want to instead of coming at you as a child. So now they think they're right here with their mamas, right here with their daddies. And now here come a breach. So you got to uproot this thing. Wait, hold on. You my child. We ain't your friends. And that's what we mess up and why I'm my child's friend. That's why they don't respect you. So there's a breach in the respect. There's a disrespect that comes. So a breach in a duty. You got a supervisory position, but don't nobody respect you. You a man or a woman of God in the church. You done got common with the people. And so now they looking at you like, you ain't no preacher to me. I'm trying to help us today, beloveds. I'm trying to help us. Because there's a breach in fiduciary duties. So people now don't see you for who you really are. They see you based upon their opinions and not where you stand in God. And so now you got to realize, wait a minute, you done went too far. That's why a lot of people, they walk away from church. The doors of the church are closed because you done got common with the folks. Instead of being a leader, you they friends. And so now they can't receive you. They cannot receive the word from you. They cannot receive correction from you because they keep saying, how you going to tell me what to do? So there's a breach in your fiduciary duty. And so here it is. They don't even look at you the same. They can tell you, go pull that robe off. You just like me. I thought you was saved. I thought you was sanctified. I thought you was filled with the Holy Spirit. And now you done got common and look how they look at us. Come on here, somebody. I wanted to encourage somebody today and just to let you know to get rid of the breacher in your house. And I'm talking about your spirit and who you are and where you're going in life. Because sometimes people, you have to let things go and let God take over. I want to encourage you today, search things out. Search things out. and get rid of the breacher. Cut it off. When God cuts you off, he cuts you off for real. God says cut it off at the root. He says we got the, let me just read this. Y'all know Jeremiah. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Jeremiah what? 1 and 10. He done already told you what to do. I already said it. 1 and 10 says this. We know the scriptures. He says, see, I have appointed you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms to uproot and break down, to destroy and to overthrow. And you have to overthrow some stuff in your house, breaches, and to build what? Build it again, and then you plant. And so, as Nehemiah said it best, I built a wall, but I left the door open. And the enemies heard that I built one. You got to build you. The Bible says that you got to build yourself up in your most holy faith and pray in the Holy Spirit. Wait patiently in God to see the salvation of the Lord. You got to build you. And so when God says build a wall up, it ain't just to build it because you don't want to be bothered. You're building that wall so nothing illegal can cross you again. My Jesus, that nothing else can cross you the wrong way. Now you got the wall up, but God, give me strength. Now you got the wall up that you're asking God to give me strength. Because I don't know how this is going to turn, but give me strength. I got the wall up, but I don't know how that I'm going to present myself, but give me strength. I don't know what's happening after building this wall up. Give me strength. Because you're going to need it. You're going to need it because, like he said, Jeremiah 1 and 10, see, I have appointed you. I done already ordained you to do certain things. So if I ordain you to uproot some stuff, then uproot it. If I ordain you to break things down, then break things down. If I don't already ordain you to destroy the thing that's in your life, that's attacking you, that's disdaining you, that's pulling you down, that's stressing you, I'm giving you the ability to tear it down and destroy it. Let alone I gave you power to overthrow. If I gave you power to overthrow, I'm still going to give you power to build it again. And I'm still going to give you power to plant. And when you plant yourself, you will plant yourself on solid rock, not on sinking sand. You're going to plant yourself up with the right mindset. You're going to plant yourself back up with the right happiness and the right love and the right peace. You was going with things illegally coming through the wall. When you ain't got a wall up, and I'm finna go, enemies come in your house, mean your tabernacle, your heart, your mind, your atmosphere, your husband, your wife, come between your marriage, sending wedges, come between you and your children, your friendships, your sisters. Now, when you build the wall up, nothing can come in illegally. Not even the enemy. They gonna hear about it. Oh, they got back together again. Oh, they back into this position again. Oh, they got this all wrapped up together again. Oh, they got their money back up again. But they was hoping you fail. They wanted to bring intimidation. The Bible said that the prophetess and all the enemies wanted to bring intimidation against Nehemiah. Nehemiah said, Lord, give me some strength in my hands. I may want to knock them out. Hello, somebody. He said, give me strength. I'm just messing. He meant to build the wall up and build the doors. But sometimes you got to have strength to knock the sheer hell out your enemies. And don't be afraid, because God said, I gave you this. I built you this. I told you to build it. I told you to destroy it. I told you to overpower. I gave you my Holy Spirit. The Spirit in you is greater than anything else that will make something fall. So he's saying today to somebody, build your wall up. And not only that, pray that God give you strength. I got to go. May heaven's rest, rule, and abide. I love you. Kingdom blessings, kingdom love. I will be on here every day, even while I'm resting on my birthday week. My birthday is the 24th, which is Thursday. And I'll be turning 37. I ain't ashamed to say my age. I'll be 37 by the grace of God. But I'm telling you today, I'll be on here every day to give you a little nugget. We're talking about get rid of the breaches. There's a breach in your house. Uproot it, overpower it, overthrow it. Then build what the enemy destroyed. Build what the enemy came in and breached. If you got to build your life back, build it that they tore down. If you got to build your money back up that somebody snatched from you, pack it back up and say no the next time. Hello, somebody. Build your strength back when you weak. The enemy came in and tried to give you cancer in your body. Now you need the strength. Build it back up again. Put the nutrients in your body. Build yourself back up again. The enemy came in, affect your mind, want you to commit suicide. Put something there that you don't pop a pill to go to sleep and wake up. Put something else on your mind. Get them out your spirit. Put something else up there, something positive, something that you can enjoy. Go jogging, something, go to the park, go to the beach. Put something here. Build your mind back up, because the mind is a terrible thing to waste. The Bible said, watch this, that my people perish for the lack of knowledge. If you ain't got no knowledge, the enemy will take you down illegally. Put something up here. You don't even know how your mind got there. Wait, what just happened? Hello, somebody. I got to go. I love you. Kingdom blessings. See you tomorrow at the same time. I am about to enjoy myself. God bless you. I love you. My husband, he'll be here in a few days or so, but he's working. But nevertheless, I came down to enjoy. Build yourself back up for your house before the enemy come in illegally and take you out like a flood. But God, give me strength. Give me strength for the shadow of the things to come. Kingdom blessings.